Okay, solving inequalities around about C grade level, so still both in foundation and higher exams. Right, the trick to this is really just to think of them as equations. Although inequalities are unequal, that's the point of them, it describes that 3 times my number, 3x, is less than 9. Okay, so to simplify that, or to start to solve it, you'd then say, well, if 3 times my number is less than 9, I should be able to divide both sides by 3, just like you would, for example, if 3x equaled 9, you'd divide both sides by 3, and you'd get x is equal to 3. Well, you can do exactly the same thing with inequalities, the rules stay the same. So, I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and then I'm going to get x is less than 3. Now, to solve it, you then have a look on the number line. Right, what does that actually mean? Effectively, that means that x is less than 3. So any number less than 3 is okay. How do we visualise that? What do we put at 3? Well, if it's less than 3 but it's not equal to, which means it can't be 3, you put an open circle, okay, an empty circle at that point. If it was less than or equal to, we'd fill that circle in. So that is how you'd visualise x is less than 3. Right, the next one, and again, remembering you pause in these videos when you see the questions if you want to try them yourself. Right, same sort of rule. If you look here, you've got 3n, you really want that as n. So I'm thinking I'm going to divide by 3. Luckily, both my numbers on either side are both divisible by 3, so divide everything by 3. Got to do the same thing to everything. So then I'm going to have 4 is less than or equal to n, which is less than 5. Now in this case, if we have a look on the number line, I've got two conditions on n. So n is bigger than or equal to 4. So that means I'm going to put a full circle, a coloured in circle on 4. Okay, because it can be equal to 4 or greater than. So I'm going to start going that way. But n has to be less than 5. So when I reach 5, it can't be 5. So I'll put an open circle there. And I join the 2 up. That means that n can be anywhere between those two numbers. It can include 4, but it can't include 5. Right, hold your concentration. How are we doing for time? 2 minutes 40. Right. Okay, take that a little bit step further. We've got an inequality of the form, let's say 4x minus 5 equals, sorry, my apologies, 4x minus 5 is less than 10. Same process. What we've got here is, imagine, again over here, if this was an equation, 4x minus 5 equals 10, then the first thing I'd do is add 5 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So that's really your equations work, but the same rules apply. So over here, the first thing I'm going to do is I just want x on its own, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. That's going to cancel that 5. So add 5 to both sides, rewrite what I've got, my 5's cancel, so, well, I suppose I could rub them out here, couldn't I? So my 5's cancel, and this side becomes 15. Okay, I'll move that a little bit closer. So 4x is less than 15, and then I can divide both sides by 4. Right, if I divide both sides by 4, I'm left with x is less than, right, 15 divided by 4, ooh, we've got 12 would be 3, so that's 3.75. It's not equal to, so it can't be exactly 3.75. How would I visualise that on the number line? Right, because it's less than, it's going to be an open circle at 3.75. So at 3.75, which is roughly there, I'm going to put an open circle. X is okay if it's less than. So then it's going to fly off in that sort of direction. Okay, pause it if you want to check that or run through it again. Next question. Right, next question is, let's have something like 5x is greater than or equal to 2x plus, let's call it 6. Right, again, I'm making the numbers fairly convenient in these examples. Right, again, if you had an equation, so if that was 5x equals 2x plus 6. The first step you'd always do would be to get x's on one side alone, and then what you do is you remove the smallest number of x's. So here I take 2x from both sides, okay, which would give me 3x on that side and 6 on that side. So I'm going to do the same thing with the inequality. The rules still work. So I'm going to minus 2x from this side, minus 2x from that side. See what I've got left. 5x minus 2x is 3x, and that is still greater than or equal to. The 2x's cancel, there's nothing left there, and then I'm left with 6 on that side. So 3x is greater than or equal to 6. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and so x is greater than or equal to 2. Right, visualise it on the line. You have a think now how you would visualise it on that number line. Pause it if you need to have a longer think. Right then, it's greater than or equal to. Or equal to, that's the key. So it's going to be a thick line, a thick circle at 2. So coloured in the circle at 2 because it could include 2 as well. Then it's greater than, so that means that any number above 2 is fine by us. That'll satisfy or solve that inequality. This was quite a long video, but it covered sort of 2 topics. That's the reason.